In the first part of our series, we talked about metabolic disadvantages that make it harder to lose weight as we age. Here in part 2 of our series, I'll walk you through fat loss strategies that work after 50. In part 1, we identified insulin resistance and poor gut health as 2 metabolic disadvantages that you can influence through your diet. If you've been following my channel, you know I'm a proponent of low-carb, high-fat dieting, and that is certainly an effective strategy for weight loss. But when we are over the age of 50, we need to look at this diet strategy with a bit of a twist so that we make sure we are keeping our carbohydrates low enough to bypass insulin resistance and that we are eating in a way that feeds our good gut bacteria. And this can be a tricky combination because these two things can conflict with each other. And here are the challenges. First, high fiber foods feed your good gut bacteria, but fiber is only found in plant foods, and all plant foods contain carbs. So we find ourselves walking a fine line between eating low carb enough to lose weight and eating enough fiber to promote gut health. Challenge number 2 is that gut-damaging vegetable oils are found on the ingredient list of most foods. So as we age, we do best when we take our low-carb, high-fat diet to a new level, and we focus on what we'll call a Smart-Carb, right-fat diet. So let's look at what that means. First of all, find the carbohydrate intake that is right for your body. You've likely heard of a ketogenic diet, and that is certainly a very effective diet, but keto limits the number of high-fiber foods you can eat. And it can also be intimidating to go from a high-carb diet where you might be eating 250 carbs a day and reduce that intake to less than 50 grams, which is where you need to be in the keto range. And now, I have found that some people need to push their carbs this low, but not everyone. You know, every person's metabolism is different, so I feel that it is best for most people to start with a low-carb diet, perhaps bring your carbs under 100 grams per day, and then work down until you find the level that works for you. The second way to make this Smart-Carb, right-fat diet work for you is to focus on foods with the best fiber-to-carb ratio. These include non-starchy vegetables, nuts, seeds, and avocados. And I have a video that provides examples of starchy and non-starchy vegetables that you might find helpful, and I'll link to that. I should also add that beans have a favorable fiber to carb ratio, but not everyone tolerates them. Next, focus on whole carbs. You want that carb that you're eating to still look somewhat like the plant that it came from. There are many foods that are refined and then they add back the fiber to increase the fiber to carb ratio. Cereal and meal replacement bars are classic examples. And while fortifying fiber in this way might be helpful, in my opinion, these processed foods are never going to match up to the original food. To improve gut health, you can include fermented foods in your diet. In our home, we like to cook sauerkraut on a regular basis. You can also use things that are fermented like kimchi and kombucha. As for fats, you'll do best when you focus on whole fats like raw nuts and seeds, avocados, fish, eggs, high-quality meats, and when you have better oils, so high-quality olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil. And lastly, when you avoid vegetable oils. So start reading labels, and you'll be surprised at how many products have vegetable oil or soybean oil listed in them, things that you wouldn't really expect, like peanut butter, salad dressings, mayonnaise. These things often have soybean or vegetable oils included on their ingredient list. When these 7 steps get incorporated into your daily diet, your insulin stays low, your gut bacteria thrive, and you get results on the scale. Yet I find that these steps often make sense on an intellectual basis, but it's quite another thing to execute these changes in real life. So we find ourselves out to eat and faced with a menu, and it seems so wrong to order a fatty piece of meat. So we end up ordering the bland chicken with a side of broccoli because it's the safe choice, right? But then, of course, we leave the restaurant feeling unsatisfied and craving a dessert. So in our last video of the series, I will give you practical food swaps that bring the whole concept of eating a smart carb, right fat diet together. Thanks for watching. If you are anxious to get started, I do encourage you to watch my free video series that teaches you the 0-1-2-3 strategy that will get you started with getting sugars out of your diet and getting whole foods back in. Thanks again for watching. Please subscribe and click that little bell button so that you are notified when we put up part number 3. Thanks.